I came to China, I had like a big afro, but Sana, it just fell. My hair fell. Ay, bandang ngiyabonga. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Zanana and I'm a South African YouTuber who stays in China. So basically, before I start with everything else, welcome to everyone who's new here and thank you for watching. I hope you get to finish this video. I hope it gets interesting and you get to finish it. And to those who are returning, thank you so much for your support. Even though I don't upload all the time, I'm hoping one day I'll be consistent and you guys will, appreciate my content as much as you still appreciate it now, even though it comes in bits and pieces. So anyway, today's video, I wanted to share my story about leaving China. When I left China and I went home for about 3 months, I think, last year, because it was totally unplanned. It was all just a fucking mess, to be quite honest. Like, it was all just a mess. I understand. So where do I take it back? I'll take it back when I left my old school, the school that I came to work with when I first came to China. And this was EF, right? So basically at EF I wasn't coping at all. Like, I wasn't coping with, because I was new to the teaching system in China and how people taught and how things were done. I was literally just new, and I came to find out that no man, EF has a lot of workload and I couldn't cope. And at the time I was studying, I was doing my HSE as well. So I was just like, no, I'm not coping. I'm not coping at all, So I'm at this restaurant. It's called The Tree. It's in Qingdao, basically. I feel comfortable filming in a restaurant at the moment because I'm still trying to figure out the setup at home, and also I can't vlog in Zinebantu because I'm at my friend's house at the moment. So that's why I'm in a restaurant. I'm sure people are asking themselves, well, why is she in a restaurant? So yeah, I ordered a bottle of wine, and yeah, we're gonna have this chat, Sana, about me going through a lot when I was here. This is actually nice. Okay, so basically, I left. I was even losing hair. I was so stressed, and because when I came here, it was during COVID. You know what I mean? And COVID in Korea and COVID in China, it was different. Here in China, everything was just hectic. So I think in my previous videos, I mentioned that I spent quite a shitload of money to come here to China. And then when I was here, I was like, shit, it's a lot. No, it was a lot. No, it was a lot. We would go through lockdowns, and during those lockdowns, I'd have to teach at home. And remember, I live alone. So, did I say leave? So I live alone, basically. And I became so lonely sometimes. My mood just went, compared to what people know me as in Korea. Like, my personality just went because of what was going on here in China, and then I had this workload that I had with the EF, and I had school workload. It was a lot. I remember I even decided, let me maybe just refresh my brain and go and visit Korea for a couple of days. I went there for a week. I took leave and I went there for a week after I had worked for 7 months here in China. I went there, everything was nice. I missed Korea. I traveled there, and then I came back. Still, no, things were not changing. Because I decided to hand in my leave. I decided to resign, basically hand in my resignation letter. So, because I was also sick, I was losing hair and all of that. When I came to China, I had like a big afro, but it just fell. my hair fell. So anyway, I've got flu, by the way. Even my voice, you can tell them I've got a little bit of, not flu. My voice just decided to do what it's doing because I'm not sick or anything. It's just my voice. Okay. Anyway, fast forward. I handed in my resignation, and I told them because there are some things that I was supposed to pay them back for, like flight allowance, because I did not finish my contract. I was supposed to pay them back like a flight allowance, meaning like 9,000 RMB, which is like almost 25,000 rands. But I was like, you know what? I'll get you a teacher. I'll find you a good teacher. Like, I'll find you a perfect teacher to replace me at work, you know. But they never said they wanted the money. I just knew that, okay, maybe they might want it. So when I handed in my resignation, I also said, I'll look for a teacher. Like, I'll look for a teacher to take over from me, you know. They never said that. I know, and no, they never said any of that. But I just thought, you know what, it would be so nice to just find a teacher to replace me because they have to pay an agent a shitload of money to replace me as well, you know. So why don't I just go out of my way and just find this teacher, right? And then I went on and I posted about the job on Facebook, right? Someone reached out and then we started talking, and then they had an interview with the school, you know. I briefed them also about the city, and then they got the job. And then it was cool. Things started going a little bit crazy when the school didn't want to give him all. It was a guy. They didn't want to give him all the classes. Some classes the parents still wanted me around, so I kind of still worked for them on the weekends, basically. So I still worked for them on the weekends, Saturday and Sundays, and then I worked Monday to Friday with my normal school, the new school now I went to work for, which was a kindergarten. Okay, so I was working 2 jobs, which was fine, you know. I think at the time I was even making like a good 80,000 rands a month. You know what I mean? Like, I kid you the hell not. I remember on my last month when I was getting all the bonuses and stuff like that, I think I clocked a good 120. Yeah. Anyway, it's not about the money, it's about the school. The school was paying well, the kindergarten, really well. But where I messed up was I took a contract without paid, that had 10 days paid leave, right? And then they did not disclose to me that this paid leave, you have to take these 10 days after your first contract. Meaning that you have to finish your contract, and then you take the 10 days as a break between your first contract and your second contract, which was quite messed up. And then there was no sick leave. If you're sick, they dock your pay. Okay, fine. I started working for them. Okay, first month was cool. I was working full-time for my old school because the person who was supposed to replace me had not arrived yet. So I got my salary from the old place, my old school, and my salary for the new school. So I would work from 8 to 4 for my new school, and then at 4:30, I would start work at my old school until 8 p.m. And then on weekends, I would work from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. That went on for a month, right? I think that month when I was covering for the person who was supposed to come in my job, I think I made like 50,000 RMB, which was like a lot of money. I think it was 120,000 rands, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, the person came, they took over their They took over their job and their duties, and I stopped working and I started working for the new school. Okay, the new school, the kindergarten, the job was to be a homeroom teacher and ESL teacher. Basically, you're doing 2 jobs at once. You're sitting with the kids, you're making conversations with them, you're playing with them, you're reading books to them. When they're eating, you're making conversations about the food they're eating. What's this? It's a pineapple. Do you like pineapples? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Those kinds of things. And in the middle of that, you still need to cover English classes. You've got 7 English classes that last 30 minutes each. People that know about jobs in China, it is impossible for you to do an ESL job and do a homeroom job at the same time. You either get hired as an ESL or you get hired as a homeroom. For you to do both is training, and then for you to not have leave. I am tired. Like, I would get so tired. Besides even the fact that I used to work on weekends, like just from that job alone itself, you're walking these kids under the sun. I've got eczema. And I can't walk in the sun. I can't go a single 3 hours without reapplying my sunscreen because I shouldn't be walking in the sun. You have to walk these kids in the sun. You have to sing with them. English class oyifundisa hayibo ngangikhathele shem. And then at the time, I think for 2 months, I was the only English teacher. And then a teacher came to join us, a girl that I became really good friends with. So when she came, the school liked the way I taught, because when I went for an interview, I did a demo lesson. And they're like, oh no, like your teaching style is amazing. The teacher that used to teach you did not do any of the stuff you're doing. Like, you are good at what you do, right? And then they asked me to train her as well, to like teach her how to teach, because she had experience from South Korea and not much in China, right? So we became good friends because, you know, we had each other's back. They would tell me, no, she's not doing well, she's not teaching really well in class. But, you know, like I'd share tips with her, like do this, and we became really good friends with her. I'm mentioning this because it's about 2 best score, and towards the end you'll get the sense of everything. Okay, cool. Sisebenze. Kuningi lesa skole, kuningi. Now, one thing about me is that ngiyayithanda imali. And in as much as I love money, I also don't care about money. You can't use money to make me do things that I don't want to do, basically. So when I started getting tired of working for the school, I think like maybe 6-7 months in, I was getting drained. I started taking leave, unpaid leave. Like, I would take a week off every month, every month. Okay, so basically, you can't make me do things that I don't want to do. Hey, yazi ungavele ushone. Ngaqala manje ngavele ngalova. Ngase ngilova manje like isonto lonke. Ngivele ngithi ngiyagula. Ngigula futhi most of the time ngigula. Ngivele nginyamala isonto lonke, and that they deducted a lot of my pay. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just 2,500. No, they'd be taking a good 10,000 rands if I'm off the whole week. And then I realized that money is not everything. You know what I mean? And I've always been like that. Even in Korea, I've worked a job where I was getting paid 20,000 rands. I worked for that job for 1.5 years. I don't care that I was abroad and getting paid 20,000 rands. I was living my best life. That's always been my thing. Like, I won't work to the bone just because in Pesha I must prove a point. Nah. And now, job-wise, I must be happy. I must be fucking happy. I don't care. I'm not here in this earth to work. I work because I must live. I must not live to work. You know what I mean? So I'd say, I'm not going to come to work. That's just it. Now it's having a problem. And the thing is, when you say you are taking someone's money because they're not at work, it means that they don't owe you a reason to not come to work. I can say I'm sick. You can't expect me to give you a sick note. That's not going to work. Like, I'm not going to give you a sick note because that's your reason. Yeah, bro. So it didn't work well with them because they didn't even know whether I'm lying or not. And sometimes I'd be lying, but I was really sick. You know, like I used to get really sick. Anyway, they kind of saw that I was unhappy, and my lessons started being mad because I was not motivated. I know, hey mom, and I'm a good teacher. I'm good at what I do. You know what I mean? Like, for them to say I must train the other teacher to do their job means that there's something right that I'm doing. But I was starting to go nar, namen. My lessons would be the same. I'll sing the same fucking song for 2 months. And then one day they set us down because even the girl that we worked with, she was also not having with that school. It was a lot. It's like